I came from the mud, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
So here's a pretty cool build that is really kind of our pride and joy car. Another good friend of ours, Greg, we built this car for, formerly known as the Purple People Eater. But this is a monster of a Hellcat. It has been a task because of the stipulations that he's given. So he still drives us around a lot on the street. He still wants to be able to go to car shows. He still wants to be able to do a lot of things with it. When you build a car of this magnitude, you have to find a fine line between what's streetable and then what's a race car. So this has been that car that we're dancing around the line. Very similar to things with like Josh Passman, Explosive Cat. You know, these guys still want to enjoy their car, but when they go to the track, they want it to just kick ass, and that's what this car does. So some of the issues and things that we've kind of ran into in the last video, you saw that we destroyed front and rear parts of the drive shaft, just shattered the U-joints in them, which is it's a good thing. We're putting the power to the ground. So what we've changed now is we've got a different company that came on board, made us a different drive shaft. So we're going to hopefully have better luck with the U-joints. We went with a drive shaft that has Sun-X ends in it, and you know, billet ends with it, so hopefully it's a lot stronger of a drive shaft. The other part that we ran into and some issues were the rear end. So this car has the GForce 9-inch rear end. We were one of the first few to put that rear end in a Hellcat several years ago. So we had some hurdles. When the car came to us, it was lowered, had an Eibach lowering springs on it, and I think Greg had purchased it like that already, so he didn't know that it had that. Well, when we put the 9-inch rear end in it, it sits the axles a little bit further down. So with it being lowered, it had the axles kind of in a bind, right? So the axles were clicking, they were making a bunch of noise, they had a bunch of issues with keeping the boots on, they were slinging grease. It was just in a huge bind. So we threw in the stock springs on the rear and kept the Eibachs up front because he still kind of wanted to keep that lowered look. So we threw the stock springs in the back, and once we did that, it fixed the axle binding. The problem is that we ran into is suspension pieces. So there were two ways that we were going to go about fixing this. One was going to be using some of the BMR stuff in it and going to put like bushing braces, change out some arms, things like that, and try to get that rear end from moving, and fix some issues that we had on that as far as how low the rear end sat, because every time we would get on it, the rear end would smack the concrete. So that was our original plan. After talking with GForce, getting some things done, we learned that to do the 9-inch rear end, really truly the best way to go about it is not our solution, or what we thought would be BMR, but actually sending the whole subframe out to GForce to be completely remodified. So we sent the subframe out to GForce to get that subframe modified, and what a difference it's made. It's raised the rear end up higher so that way it can be in there, solid mounted everything, reinforced all of the things that we needed it to be reinforced, so that way it was a stronger rear end setup. So once you have something that's pushing this kind of amount of horsepower out of the engine, the transmission's next, you beef up those two things, which we've done. The next part you have is rear end. So the GForce rear end with the modified subframe that we did instead of the BMR suspension is our solution to where we're at. So now we're going to go back out. We've added nitrous to the mix now that we know our rear end is rock solid. So now we're going to tune it out for nitrous. We're providing 3 tunes for Greg. Again, with this in mind that he's wanting to keep it a show car, drive it everywhere, and enjoy it. It's going to have a 93 tune, a race gas tune, race gas, and nitrous tune. So it's going to have several different features for it, just for Greg, because we like to build our cars tailored to our customers' needs and what it is that they're looking for. So the biggest thing with everything that we've done for Greg is keeping while still pushing the limits of a race car build that he wants. So some tricks of the trade that we're learning, glad to share them with you. BMR suspension is a great product. We thoroughly enjoy them. So this isn't anything against BMR. We just decided that the best solution for Greg's car was going to be the modifications to the subframe for his rear end to kind of sit in the position it wants and to achieve the better ground clearance that we needed, and not going with just replacing and stiffening up bushing. So we had to go a step further. And that's what we're about. We're about trying to find the right solution for our customers. And then sometimes it's a trial and error. Install, try it, repeat, fix, adjust, go from there. The difference is that here at Bailey's High Performance, we are here every step of the way with you. When you're pushing the limits and you're going into an uncharted territory where only few have gone, it is a trial and error thing. Well, how do you break a 1400 horsepower drive shaft from GForce? And at Bailey's High Performance, we support our customers through the whole thing, the whole process. And for example, the rear end situation, we were here to help Greg, and we found the solution, and we are thoroughly pleased with the solution. So stay tuned for this build, because this car is just about ready to start hitting the track. We'll see you.